find out if Luke Fox is still hanging out there. Did you pitch a tent there by any chance?
Oh my God, that was long. I put in a shift, boys. I'm still here, because I got to write a story now. My work's just starting. But yeah, you know what? I've never been part of one that's taken that long. Really tense and interesting times here at Leafs headquarters.
Okay, so before we get into anything with the players, we heard from Sheldon, we heard from Kyle. They didn't go up together, which suggests that there's some separation there. And we know Brendan Shanahan didn't speak today, and we expect to hear from him at some point, maybe later on this week or next week, depending on how quickly they sort things out or want to make announcements. What did you get out of Sheldon and Kyle today?
Well, the biggest thing by far is just how emotional Kyle Dubas was today and how much of a toll this whole thing is taken on him. I mean, it kind of blew my mind. I thought, he was getting kind of choked up at times talking about his family and how taxing it's been and how he needs to really put their priorities first before he makes any decision whether he wants to be back with the Maple Leafs. That idea of him, jumping ship to the Pittsburgh Penguins, you can forget that. He said he doesn't want to be anywhere else because he doesn't want to put his family through it. Like, he doesn't want to make his wife and his young children go through a move this off season. So he needs to do some soul searching, find out if it's worth it to keep doing this job. Then he has to figure out even if he wants to do this job, what they want to offer him. And he has to meet with ownership and Brendan Shanahan. So there's a lot to be sorted out here. Another big thing is he didn't give Sheldon Keefe an endorsement, but didn't say that he was the wrong man either. And he didn't give the core of this team an endorsement. And that is a very first. Like, I thought it was really telling that he said he's learning there's a line between belief and rigidity.
Luke, if he did, we'd laugh him out of the building. If he did give anybody an endorsement, you know that.
Yeah, but I believed it. I believed the way he said it, though. That he looked at the Florida Panthers and he said they took their time, waited till July, but then made a blockbuster trade, took two core pieces off their team, and now they're farther in the playoffs than they were, a President's Trophy winning team. And he suggested that that's the kind of move that he would have to be open to.
So, in soaking all this in, Kip and I are doing our best to sort of read between the lines, what's negotiation, what's protecting yourself from looking hypocritical later. Who comes back? Like, is Kyle, if Kyle's back, do you think he sticks with Sheldon, or do you think he does make a big trade here? You cannot have everyone back the same way, and I'm trying to make sense who looks like the odd man out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's no way you can just run it all back. Mm-hmm. It's gotten 7 times. It's getting a little silly, right?
Yes.
So who knows? I did find it very interesting that Austin Matthews was so upfront about wanting to come back and wanting to get the deal done in the summer before next season started. He could very well have played it a little more politically and said, well, the season just finished and I need some time to think and talk to my agent or talk to my family. But he was saying, like, my intention is to re-sign here. So, Leaf fans who want Austin Matthews back, I think that's a great sign. But he also talked about how close he is with Dubas. So if it's not Dubas negotiating that contract, I think that will raise more questions. He loves the culture Dubas has created here. And pretty much everyone said they wanted the core back. No one said, this isn't working. Maybe we do need changes. Like, Nylander's on board. Mitch Marner, I think, is afraid of getting traded at this point. He said that, this is the team he dreams of finally breaking through with and winning. I think the core needs to be cut into just for a different look. I think they need to spend a greater portion of their money on the blue line. I don't think Jake McCabe's a top 4 guy. I mean, you're always pinching pennies on the blue line, and that doesn't mean that those aren't good talents that you're trading away. But I think you have to explore ways, get creative. There's other teams that aren't happy with where they finished. Like, I think it's time to do some serious wheeling and dealing.
Maybe it's just the 40 years of being around this that has me the way I am. But I heard another negotiating ploy out of Austin Matthews today. I mentioned it on Kyle, playing the I got to talk to my family card.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Austin today, if I'm reading between the lines, saying I'm signed to a deal July 1st or I'm not talking about it the rest of the year.
Well, it's good. It's going to be fascinating. But
Did
you know
hear
what?
that?
No, I don't understand that.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
I need an extension. I'm not going through the whole thing all year long.
I see what you mean.
Right?
Yeah.
You either sign me July 1st or we'll talk to you at the end of the season.
But I think they would be happy to sign him just because guys like this don't come around. And you know what? It was a small thing, but it was something I noticed is that a lot of the guys came out wearing their whatever clothes, right? Just their designer label hoodies or whatever. And Austin Matthews came out and did his presser in a Leafs hoodie and a Leafs hat. I think that was maybe some subtle message sending there. Like, I'm a Maple Leaf still, and I want to re-sign here.
Is there a sense that he may consider leaving a lot of money on the table so he can go get a legitimate winger, left winger, and not put it all on Matthew Nyes next year?
I don't know. Well, the track record of these guys is not to take discounts, so I'm not gonna jump to that conclusion, unfortunately. But you know what? He can't take the max. Like I feel like the playoff success hasn't been there. He's coming off a good year, but a down year. I don't.
One
think
assist in 5 games.
Yeah,
that doesn't set you up to be to blow it out of the waters.
But it's still going to be a big number.
Too, or just that one?
I'm talking about a team that finished 19 points behind you in the regular season. Yeah, that one doesn't matter. The first one when I lose to a team that needs Pittsburgh to lose the last game of the season.
He snuck in.
It's just you don't get number one centermen who are capable of scoring 60 goals, right? You just don't get them. So when you have one, you pay them.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. No question about that.
That's one of the things that kind of hangs over, and then the dominoes start to fall. And Dubas basically said that he would take calls on everyone.
No, make calls
on everyone. Well, you heard everyone, aka those 4 guys, weigh in on things today. What were your impressions from what Tavares said, from what Nylander said, and Marner? I think we've got a sense from Matthews. What did the other 3 say about their interest and likelihood of sticking around?
They all want to stick around. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, you see the way these guys are treated. Like, it is first class, from the training staff to the meals to the hotels to how the coach is fairly, at least publicly, the coach is very gentle to them. The general manager is this loving, caring, let's create a really inclusive, nice culture, keep our stars happy. Like, it is a very comfortable place to play.
But you just can't win. That's the only problem, though, is it's so comfortable that you don't win.
They haven't yet. I agree. But anyway, what they were saying was they all want to stay. They like it here. Whether that leads to winning, that's the $1 million question.
You make a ton of money.
Yeah,
you don't have to win.
There's no accountability.
Of course, you love it.
Can you add accountability? When you have the same people?
No, it's over. That's it. You had your chance. Now you need to make changes. Somebody's got to go. One of the 4 got to go.
I agree. And there was, in terms of accountability there, Justin, like there was very little talk. Ryan O'Reilly mentioned it. Like, I needed to create more, but there was very little talk of I needed to score more or we needed to do better. There was talk of Bobrovsky today. There was talk about scoring chances today. And it's like, fans don't want to hear that stuff right now.
No, Sammy's shaking his head behind the glass. Like, that's the last thing people want to hear again is we had good looks, didn't go, it didn't fall for us. Bob made a bunch of saves. It's kind of a nauseating idea. And so this is my point about Keefe and that, to establish accountability is going to be hard, right? Because if you have these guys have been here so long, anyone coming in is going to feel new. To wield authority is really hard, right? To suddenly become this hardline guy, but maybe you need some of that.
This is where I think Kyle can talk himself into an extension. This is where he can talk everyone into bringing Sheldon Keefe back, is that I understand now I can't win with this group. and I will make the significant changes. Give me one more chance for change. And this is where it comes in.